Hello and welcome to Geek Addicts, the pop culture podcast where we talk about throwing dudes in leather jackets off of as many buildings as we possibly can. My name is Matt. With me, the Cape Crusader himself, Bill Viber. How's it going, Bill?
I'm Batman.
All
I'm
right.
doing all right. It's 2 days after Christmas. I am very tired because I'm always very tired. Um,
Yeah, I feel that.
yeah, it's been a good week or so since we last recorded.
hmm
I think I don't even remember when we last recorded. That's how.
I think we did Saturday last week, so it's been a little bit under a week, but yeah, same difference.
Yeah, it's one of those wonderful times where everything's all over the place. But hey,
hmm
it's another day, and we're past the holidays. Now we're just got to get through the rest of the year.
Did you enjoy your Christmas present?
I did. She's back there. Kind of
Nice.
see her on the Spy Family shelf.
Yeah, it's really funny. Sydney told me about it after the fact because she went looking for something for you while she was out because she was very grateful about you treating us when we were visiting, and she I guess she was in GameStop and she went up to the desk and she said, "Excuse me, do you have any waifus?" So she said, in her exact words, she got you a tasteful waifu. So there you go.
That's good. I mean, that sums up your probably.
Yeah, I'd say so for sure.
Alex
But
enjoyed her gift as well.
good. I'm glad. Or the sweets or
Uh, I I'm assuming the sweets. She hasn't really looked at the stuff yet, but she's been busy. So
fair enough. Um, yeah. So in case anybody listening can't tell, this is being recorded just a few days after Christmas. So do you get anything cool this year?
a lot of gift cards. I got a couple games. I got Metaphor finally, and
Nice.
the new Yeast game. I got Yeast 10, so that's fun. Alex got me the second volume of the Suzume manga, and she got me like the little Suzume Nendroid figure. So that's fun.
Ooh, that's cool. Very nice. I got I got the new Inkheart book.
Nice.
It just came out like last month, and I got Sparking Zero, of course. And I've only cracked into that a little bit. I played a little bit with Xander, and then I played a little bit on my own yesterday.
Hmm.
But I haven't really had the opportunity to really dump any significant time into it. I also got Rebirth, so
Nice.
at some point I'll be cracking into that. I had forgotten that that was a 2 disc game.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild, dude. That in the PS5, Xbox Series X like point in gaming that we still have 2 disc games.
Well, now it's like they have one disc that downloads shit onto your console, and then the other disc is the actual play disc. It's
Mm-hmm. It's bizarre. But I already got that all downloaded and ready to go for whenever I'm ready to crack into it. So
hmm.
I think Xander still has to finish the DLC for remake, but other than that, he's very excited. He actually got a Buster Sword for Christmas because he's been really digging FF7.
Buster
He's going.
Sword is a cool sword.
So he finished the main story and he's like, "Who is this black-haired guy? Who is Zach?" I'm like,
Oh,
"I can't tell you." He's just like, "I just need to know who Zach is." I'm like, "Well, that sucks, dude, because you either gotta play through Rebirth and hope that you get the answers you want from that, or play the original, because I'm not fucking saying shit."
well, even in the original, the answers you don't really get a lot of answers about Zach.
Yeah, but if he played the original all the way through, then I'd let him play Crisis Core. So,
True. Yeah, Crisis Core is really the only way you're going to get any info on Zach.
well, I'm inconclusive on how much they give you in Rebirth. So
True. Well, that's an alternate continuity, so
true, this is true. But I mean, I have to imagine like the base facts about him are accurate. So we'll see.
we'll have to wait and see on that. I still don't really know what their end goal is with the remake, but I'm sure it'll be
All right,
something.
fruit fly. um, but yeah, I'm excited to get into those. Yeah, aside from that, it's just been mostly gift cards and things of that nature.
Yeah, I went out and hit up all the bookstores yesterday because I got a BNN card and I got a Newbury Comics card.
Very nice.
A bunch of comics I want to read, so that'll be a. I got plenty of reading material for like a year, so that's all I'll say.
You got enough reading material for more than that if you really crack down.
Yeah, I stopped. Also, I love how like comic shops just don't give a crap about release dates and they'll just put stuff out the second they get it. Because I found the new Black Clover volume, the new Sakamoto Days, and the new Chainsaw Man were all
Very
out
nice.
like weeks early. So
When's the next Spy Family supposed to come out?
a couple weeks actually. It's early January.
Ooh,
So
fun. I'm gonna have to do that. Oh, so I had this idea, and I don't know if anybody listening wants to chime into the Discord or anything, but I was thinking about it might be fun. When obviously like these are coming out delayed anyway, so it's not like it's gonna be like up to date with week to week. But I was thinking once Daima starts its dub, like officially on Crunchyroll, I think it'd be fun to do like a little segment at the beginning of like if we watch it week to week and do like a little like 15-minute segment at the beginning of every episode, just talking about the newest episode before we get into the main topic.
it'll be fun. I have to wait on it, but yeah, I'd be down for that. Well,
You have to wait on it.
we'd have to wait a few more weeks just because it's
Well, yeah.
still got a bit, but
Yeah, it's like let's say 27th. Like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. So yeah, not super long, but I think that would be fun. Yo, the episode that came out today, like I literally like forgot that it was Friday for a minute, and then like maybe like an hour ago, I went and watched it, and I'm not gonna say what it was, but something happened that long-term Dragon Ball fans had been waiting to happen in the canon for a very long time. And I can't speak for anybody else, but I would have expected if it was going to happen at all, it would have happened in Super. I was not expecting it to happen here in Daima. So I'm kind of in shock about that. Anyone who's up to date and knows what episode I'm talking about, you know exactly what I mean. But we will get there when we get there as far as covering Daima. But yeah, I can't believe
it. Yeah. I'll continue to sit in suspense until the dub starts. So
it's just insane to me how much they're packing into 20 episodes. Insane. It's insane to me that people are still shitting on Daima because it has been fucking coming at the world in full force. Like, man, I'm into it. I'm into it.
People like to complain,
especially Dragon Ball fans.
Yeah,
maybe that's why One Piece keeps coming out on top. It's because Dragon Ball fans keep fighting each other, and One Piece is just sitting over the corner laughing.
They're on a pirate adventure looking for the meaning of friendship.
They're looking for something. They don't even know what it is.
I'm convinced.
We'll find it eventually.
I am fully convinced that the One Piece is literally just going to be like, it wasn't about the treasure, it was about the friends we made along the way.
I still like Slay's idea that like there was like something stuffed in the hat band of the straw hat, and that was like the One Piece all along. He just had it the whole time.
I'm gonna laugh when they find the One Piece, they open the treasure chest, and it's just a picture of a middle finger.
That'd be the best fucking possible ending ever.
I think they would burn Japan down, honestly. Like
I would love honestly, like that would be what like if that actually happened, that would be the point where I'd be like, okay, One Piece is the best, like hands down.
I think Alex would personally fly to Japan just to burn the place down. Oh man,
she'd be knocking on Oda's door.
Yeah, she'd be very upset about that.
I'd love it. I think that was amazing.
The One Piece is going to literally just be an end page that just says to be continued in 2 piece.
God, I don't know if Oda would have enough life in him afterwards to commit to a sequel.
Well, that's the thing. It's a false sequel. It doesn't actually happen. They just leave everyone on suspense forever.
Fair.
All right. That would be evil, wouldn't it?
A little bit, but It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
We need more mangakas that just troll the audience.
Yeah. The ones that just don't give a shit.
Now that Toriyama's gone, we need somebody to take up that mantle. Just troll everybody as hard as we can.
Yeah, other than that though, I have not been watching any anime recently.
I haven't for the past like week. Yeah, I didn't want to commit to anything. I only had like 2 days of work this week, so I didn't want to commit to anything specific. And then it was all Christmas stuff, and yeah, I've mostly just kind of been hanging out. Whenever I have time to like sit down and do anything, I'm like, no, I'm gonna play Sparking Zero.
Yeah. I've been mostly just sleeping or catching up on other things, doing a lot of minor stuff like cleaning and stuff around the house. Mostly just catching up on stuff that I haven't been able to do.
Oh, you'll be happy to hear, Bill. Cindy is now officially 3 hours into Persona 4 Golden.
Oh, nice.
She started it. She's invested now.
Well, once you get through Yukiko's dungeon, that's basically the point where like there's no going back. So.
Well, she's not quite there yet. I think she's only like just now getting to the part where the persona unlocks.
Nice.
But I mean, she was invested enough to go through 3 hours of just reading text and wandering around a town. So
yeah, that opening is. I love Persona 4, but I will say that opening is a little too long for what it is.
It's a slow burn. It's a very slow burn.
Well, especially on repeat playthroughs, which there will be repeat playthroughs. But that's good though.
But yeah, she seems to be enjoying it so far. She likes Nanako. She thinks Chie is weird.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
Chie is weird, but she's also a lovable weird.
Mm-hmm.
Every character in that. I mean, to be fair, every character in Persona 4 is kind of weird, but they're all like lovable in that weird sort of way.
And she's at that early stage where now she suspects everyone. Like everyone is a suspect.
I mean, let's be real. Spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't played it, but if you don't suspect, well, obviously she'll probably hear this, so I won't say. But if you don't suspect who it is,
no, she won't.
Maybe you never know. You never know. Yeah, but if you don't suspect who it is, early on, the shock towards the end is pretty interesting because he is not subtle in the slightest.
No, I caught on to that real fast. I was like, this dude is too sketchy. Like, he is way too happy. I don't like it.
I just love the fact that you can accuse Nanako at the end. Like,
I love that meme where it just shows her with like the like distorted psycho face, and she's like, "Hey, you caught on, big brother."
Yeah, you can legit accuse anybody in the game, and it's just a really funny dialogue with on them. They'll be like, "What the fuck?" No.
But yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes if she sticks with it. I want to see her reaction just to it. Like, I even sacrificed Sparking Zero time to let her play on the TV. That's important right there. Shows you how much I wanted to like it.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I think other than that, though, you want to get into our topic for this episode?
Sure.
So if you didn't guess from if you didn't read the title and you didn't guess from our little intro there, we're going to be talking about Batman 89. Ignore those other three films; they don't matter right now.
Yeah,
we're talking about Batman 89, the 1989 film by Tim Burton, famously starring Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, and Kim Basinger. Obviously based off of Batman. This film predates both of our existences, so that's always fun.
Not by too much, but enough.
Enough that it's still old enough that like we obviously don't have recollection of it. Like I'm pretty sure the first Batman film I have recollection of is Batman and Robin. Oh boy.
I'm pretty sure for me it's this one. I think this might be the first like legitimate superhero movie I ever saw. I have distinct memories of watching it at my dad's house when I was little.
I meant more like just I remember seeing like advertisements on TV for like Batman and
Oh,
Robin was around that point.
yeah.
I probably saw Returns first, honestly, because I have memories of seeing Michelle Pfeiffer in the Catwoman suit more
Mhm.
than anything.
I'm
You could
sure you
tell
do.
you could tell where my eyes were directed at the time. Um, anyways, that being said, though, Batman '89 is a interesting film in a lot of ways. Like, I still think that cover is incredibly iconic, just like the Bat logo.
Mhm. For sure.
And I remember for like years, like I'd be like reading about the backstory behind this film. Like, I remember like people actually like weren't sure like Michael Keaton could like was actually like fit for the role
Mhm.
because he at that point was most famously known for he was like typecast in a lot of things. Like he was most famously known as Mr. Mom in that movie.
I'm
Um,
not familiar.
that's one of his earlier films, and then I think his other big performance that really kind of changed people's opinions was he was the original Beetle. Well, he was Beetlejuice in the live action movie.
Mhm.
Um,
Which I still haven't seen the sequel of yet. I'm
I've
interested.
heard I've heard good things and I've heard bad things. Like there's no in between. It's either people liked it or they absolutely hated it.
It's about
So
right. That's usually how it goes with those kinds of sequels that come way, way, way later. So
hmm. Also, this film being a Tim Burton film, I've always found really interesting because Tim Burton. I mean, this is before the era where every one of his movies had Johnny Depp in it. Um,
or those weird twisties, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's
Um,
like that, like I think like ever since Nightmare Before Christmas is like you always see those little twisties in all of his movies.
yeah. Yeah, you do. It's like those Johnny Depp, Danny Elfman, and his partner at the time were in like every one of one of his movies.
Well, Danny Elfman was significant in this movie. Also Prince. Forgot about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. The Batman song. I always remember
Mm.
that.
Mm.
Yeah,
Which
Danny
I thought was
Elfman.
very fitting with Jack Nicholson running around in that purple suit the whole time. I was like, okay, I see what they're doing here.
True. Um, yeah, so I guess we could probably go into it a little bit. Michael Keating obviously plays the titular Batman, Bruce Wayne. Jack Nicholson famously plays the Joker, although this is a very different Joker from the normal comic one.
Hmm.
And then Kim Basinger plays Vicky Vale in like the one film she appears in. Um, yeah, so this movie is interesting because like as a film, I still love this movie, but as a Batman movie, like I still always say this is like one of the worst Batmans, just
Oh, for sure.
in terms of the character. Because I mean, Michael Keaton's performance is great, like he does a great job. But fuck the direction for Batman in this film is so fucking insane. Like he kills people left and right, like throws people off buildings.
Well, well, I was like kind of trying to pay attention to that because we were talking about that recently, and I was trying to pay attention as as I was watching the movie, and like I noticed that it seemed to me that it wasn't until like more towards the end with like the whole cathedral stuff, that he started just like not giving a shit and throwing people off the building.
Well, they
'Cause, I
kept
mean,
him in
he even
character
tried
early,
he even
and
tried
then
to pull Jack Nicholson out before he fell into the vat of chemicals. So like he was trying at the beginning, and then he hit a point where he just said fuck it.
yeah. We're probably not going to go note for note plot wise of this film because I mean this film has been seen by most people. Most people understand. I wanted to. It'd probably be better to just cover like the more key moments of it because to be honest, plot wise, there's not a lot in this film plot wise.
Well, it's kind of hard to follow a specific plot where the Joker is involved because his whole thing is kind of chaos.
Well, it's very interesting because like Jack Nicholson, I like as a Joker, but like he spends the entire film just dancing around doing fuck all for most of the movie.
But I love every second of it.
Like to
Like,
me, like the most ridiculous scene in this movie is like Batman's coming in on the Batwing and he pulls out this giant fucking gun,
his
takes him
comically
out,
large gun.
and takes him out in one fucking shot. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, no. The whole time I'm watching this, I'm just like, no. Like,
I absolutely loved it. I was losing my shit when he pulled that shit. And it was like right out of the crotch too. It was like a fucking 3-foot barrel of a pistol. Like,
yeah, he just
and
like
then
straight
later on, he just kind of like a fucking plastic lightsaber. He just fucking
and then continues just dancing again in the fucking street. Like,
yeah. It was
like
amazing. I
it
loved
is
it.
such a weird movie. It's such an 80s film, like I will say. Like,
Hmm.
I also love how Jack Nicholson got the top billing in this film. Like he's so much over like everyone else.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me though. I mean, Jack Nicholson's one of those guys.
Yeah. It's very interesting too, because this film goes very much against like the Batman canon. Like famously Batman's parents were killed by Joe Chill, but in like this movie they instead made it Jack Napier, who is this universe's Joker. Um they actually gave the Joker like a backstory in this film, even though like in most continuities, his entire backstory is that his backstory is unreliable,
Mhm.
which I found very interesting. They kind of were they were playing very fast and loose with the canon, which was fine for a movie at the time.
Yeah.
Like, because like Joe Chill famously like, or not Joe Chill, Jack Napier like is like he's like the primary antagonist for the first half of the film. Then he famously falls into the vat of chemicals and becomes the Joker. I did enjoy the fact that like he has this arc for a while where he's like, because his face got all fucked up, he had to like get his like face reconstructed, so he's got that permanent smile now.
Mhm.
But then he's also wearing normal makeup to like hide the fucking the clown makeup.
Makes it really like unsettling to see.
Oh yeah, like that scene where he like his demand, like he's like, I want my face on the $100 bill. Like that scene is so fucking creepy.
Yeah. I love the one scene. I don't remember exactly what happened when Vicky Vale throws the water in his face and he's like, "I'm melting," and she's like buying it too, and it's just I don't know. He's just such a fucking cheeseball throughout the whole movie, and I'm just so here for it.
Yeah, it was. It's a very interesting portrayal of the Joker. It's definitely not my favorite. Like I'd still take Heath Ledger's performance over anyone, but
Yeah, I mean that was a pure chef's kiss performance. If the performance
also,
was so good, it literally killed him. So I mean,
yeah. Another interesting casting in this film is Billy D. Williams. He has a very minor role as Harvey Dent before he was Two Face,
which is
which
a little upsetting that he didn't carry over until there was
he
actually
was
a Two-Face.
he was supposed to, and then like they recast him for forever. Because apparently it was in Tim Burton's plan. He was going to be Two Face in one of the future films, but then Tim Burton famously left the project because people thought Returns was too dark.
It's fucking Batman. I mean,
Well, I mean,
only for the Dark Knight to come out a couple decades later and just fucking blow everybody's mind with how dark it is, and they all just love it.
true. Although to be fair, like this was like because Batman before '89 was famously like the last Batman project that most people remembered was like Adam West Batman. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, it was also like they marketed Returns to kids for some reason. Like there was like toys and like Burger King or something like that.
That's weird.
Um, yeah, it was an odd choice, especially because that movie is very dark.
Also incredibly sexual at points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Danny DeVito, just being Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Um, Also,
Fucking
Christopher
Danny.
Walken. Christopher Walken was in that movie too. Oh, there was a big cast in that movie.
Was he?
Yeah, he's the guy that throws Michelle Pfeiffer out the window.
No shit. It's been a long time since I watched that one.
Hmm. Yeah, so 80. Another fun thing about 89 I was reading about was during like the premiere, like it was one of the so the co-creator of Batman, Bob Kane, was still alive when this film came out. And he had famously went to the premiere, and Bob Kane was a fucking eccentric kind of douchebag. He actually showed up in a fucking cape, like
Yeah.
being center of attention. Still refusing to acknowledge the co-creator of Batman who actually did everything, but that's a story for another day. Because sadly, Bill Finger never got credited for this film. He wouldn't be credited until Dawn of Justice, like in 2015. So,
wow, that's crazy.
Try to see who else was a cast member in this film, because there was a bunch. Like, I really like the guy that plays Alfred.
Yeah, he was like a perfect Alfred for sure.
He is the only guy that is in all four of the movies in the first film series.
Really?
Yeah, he's Alfred in all four of them. Everyone else changes like from place here and there.
That's crazy.
Michael Gough. He did a very good job.
Yeah, I'd say he definitely was able to portray the type of vibe you're supposed to get from Alfred.
Yeah, I still always think of that scene though where Michael Keaton's like walking down the pathway and he just grabs the guy and throws him off the building. And I was like, yeah, that's Batman, all right.
Well, for me, it's like the one scene that always has stood out in my memory, going all the way back to the first time I watched it, was the museum. The whole museum scene where friggin' like from the moment she puts the gas mask on, and then fucking Jack Nicholson just bursts in with the goddamn boom box, and he's just being a total cheeseball with all of his goons, and they're like defacing all the art pieces and everything. Like, I don't know, it's just, and like they're going through, and then eventually like they like one of them goes to fuck up one of the paintings, and Joker's just like, hold on. I actually kind of like this one. Leave it. It's like the only one that he's just like, no, I think I'm taking this one.
He was just such an interesting Joker. Like, I know Jokers are always like a very the thing about doing the Joker is like it's always about the actor or like voice actor to like do their own take on the character. Nicholson's take is interesting. I mean, live action wise, it's very hard to compete with Ledger. Even Joaquin Phoenix has very distinct like Joker vibe to him.
Yeah, I think the last live action Joker I've seen was in Suicide Squad.
Oh,
which I was not a fan of.
Jared Leto's portrayal, where I think he went too fucking hard into it, and I was just kind of like, yeah, this doesn't work.
You see, that's the like they went like complete opposite spectrum to this movie, where in this movie, like the Joker was very like old school gangster, like, you know, fucking like long black coats type of fucking gangster.
The more sadistic vibe of the character really isn't.
Whereas whereas the Jared Leto was like what you think of a gangster today, and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, like one of the reasons why Ledger's performance is so like lauded is the fact that like he really got that sadistic nature of the Joker, like his unhinged like unpredictability. Like in this movie, it's mostly just Jack Nicholson dancing in the street and like just doing goofy shit like the entire movie. Just fine. I mean, he does a great job. It's very interesting. Like I still always think of the scene where he falls, like right at the end of the film, where he falls from the tower to his death.
He's just got that little like laugh machine in his pocket, just continuing to laugh.
Yeah. It's funny too because like he was supposed to reprise his role as the Joker later on.
Oh yeah.
So there was the canceled 5th film in the series. There was supposed to be a 3rd Joel Schumacher film. But the horrible reception of Batman and Robin killed any chance of this ever coming out. It was supposed to be called like Batman Triumphant, and the main villain was supposed to be the Sandman, or I think, no, maybe not Sandman. Who was the Scarecrow? Scarecrow. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was supposed to be the Scarecrow. And the entire gimmick was he would see like hallucinations of like past stuff, and they were gonna get Jack Nicholson to reprise the role of the Joker for like hallucinations.
That would have been awesome.
It probably would have, but I'm not a huge fan of Joel Schumacher's direction, so like I'm not sure how good it would have been, and I'm not sure who they would have got to play Batman because Clooney wasn't it. I'm just gonna say that now.
Scarecrow was in one of the like the Dark Knight movies, wasn't he?
I think he was in Batman Begins.
Okay. I couldn't remember which one it was. And I remembered seeing something. I don't know if it was actually one of the movies I watched or not, but because
Yeah.
I never saw Rises.
Now Rises was Bane. He was the main villain of that one.
Yeah, but it's not uncommon for there to be more than one villain in any given superhero movie.
True.
I mean, there was
Well,
two in Dark Knight.
true. Well, Rises was like it was Bane and then Catwoman were the main two characters.
Gotcha. I am interested for when we go into the more modern stuff, like seeing some of the newer ones, because I haven't seen like I think Dark Knight is like the most recent, like with the exception of like Suicide Squad, like the most recent live action DC movie I've seen.
Oh yeah, Batman's in Suicide Squad for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, it was real fast. But I just meant
Because
like in general, any live action DC stuff, like I haven't seen past like Dark Knight.
yeah, it's interesting because like Dark Knight is still considered like one of the greatest superhero films of all time, but it's
Mm.
actually thinking about it now. I think Batman '89 is, in all honesty, like the first like truly like great superhero movie.
Yeah, I'd say so. I can't. None of them really come to mind that came beforehand that were like. I mean, obviously we had like the Adam West movie, and there was,
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
and then there was a couple Superman movies, wasn't there in the 80s?
Right? Yeah. Okay, that's true. Superman 2 is a good film.
Hmm.
Um,
I don't remember what exactly when those came out, but
those
I
were in
remember
the
enjoying those.
actually I think those were in the '70s.
Oh, really? Because I remember
So
seeing, I think the first one or two, like probably right around the same time that I watched this Batman movie,
it's always funny because I always forget about the Christopher Reeve Superman films.
which
One
is
second.
funny because he's like the one of the most famously known actors who played Superman.
Yeah, let's yeah, Superman 2 was 1980, so the original Superman was like the late 70s.
Gotcha. All right, so I guess Superman probably
This
first.
is this is the best Superman superhero film since Superman 2 because fuck Superman 3, fuck Superman 4. Those movies
Yeah,
suck. Um
but then the 2000s came and started just really knocking them out of the park.
well, it's interesting though because like Batman was really good. Batman Returns was really good. Forever Forever literally some days I like it, some days I hate it. It depends on my mood. The Batman and Robin, enough said. And then like I don't think we get another great superhero because I think that movie actually killed superhero movies up until Sony came out with Spider-Man. Or
I'd say probably X-Men was
Maybe
first.
X-Men came first.
I
They
think
were
X-Men
so
was
close
2000,
together. Okay, that's true. I think Spider-Man was like 2002.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was right
Um,
around then when Marvel sold their soul to stay alive by giving away all their film rights.
giving away the best ones.
Yeah, it's still biting them in the butt even today.
Hmm. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to think of like some of the really fun scenes in this movie. I mean, obviously, like I love like the progression. Like once he makes the announcement of like, oh, I have all these different chemicals that I put in these products, and you don't. Chances are you already bought them, and they'll kill you, and you'll die laughing, and all this other stuff, and
Hmm.
like seeing the progression of the city, like from the original announcement to like them trying to figure out what's going on and seeing everybody just kind of go to shit, like not washing, not putting on makeup or anything like that. Like you see how it's affecting it. Although weirdly enough, like you know, Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale are both totally fine throughout that whole thing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
They didn't suffer.
their paychecks were higher than everyone else's, so
Yeah. But I thought it was fun how it ended up being like, oh, well, you have to use like this specific type of combination of products for it to work. Like they react with each other. Like I
Mhm.
thought that was interesting.
Yeah, the Joker's the whole plot in this film is bizarre. Like he's very much just kind of like he actually has a goal because usually the Joker doesn't have a goal. He's just straight up an agent of chaos.
Well,
Um,
I mean, I guess you could say I mean, his goal is to just kind of fuck shit up, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if aside from just killing Batman, I didn't really notice like any one particular thing he was trying to accomplish aside from just killing people and creating chaos,
yeah.
which is fine. You know, I'm totally up for that.
This was also the film that started like the famous trend that wouldn't be addressed until Batman, The Dark Knight, where like he can't fucking turn his head. Like,
Yeah, that fucking bothered me. Is like the way that mask was made. Like you are not turning your head at
like
all.
literally
Like
every Batman up until they made it an actual plot point in The Dark Knight can't turn his fucking head.
you're like you are literally so fucking stiff, bro.
Like he has to
No
turn his
one,
whole body just to fucking look left and right.
like no wonder that one random goon was giving him so much trouble up on the cathedral tower there. It's like all he has to do is step to the side a little bit and he's out of your range of vision.
So it's always a very interesting dynamic, like to look at because Batman is really two characters. Like Bruce Wayne and Batman are just like two entirely different personas, and it's always very interesting when an actor really nails both sides of the character. And I always thought Keaton did a very good Batman, and he also did a very good Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm. I loved a lot of the early scenes with Bruce Wayne, where like the reporter guy was like walking around the house during the party with Vicky Vale, and like they were just kind of like shitting on him, like just being like, oh, like you know, freaking, was he compensating for and all this other shit, like as they're walking through, and he just kind of like comes up behind them, like listening to their conversation. He's just like, oh yeah, well by the way, this and that. And it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm Bruce Wayne. Like, he's
Yeah,
like, oh, shit. And he
yeah,
just like totally cock blocked that other dude, like super bad the whole time. Like he's trying to swoop in on Vicky there, and Wayne's just like, nah, man, step back.
yeah.
I don't think so.
He cared so much that like she doesn't appear ever again after this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I
No
found
kidding.
very odd they didn't even bring her back, but she gets mentioned in Returns, but then other than that, nope.
It's been a while since I watched it, so I don't remember. But
Nah, she's only in this movie
hmm,
as the love interest of the week.
it's about right.
Um, yeah, like I thought I just always thought his it's cool because he also does like one thing I think Batman actors do very well is they change the voice when they're doing Batman versus like Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm. And this was a much more subtle change than you'd see in some
Well,
other movies.
the most infamous is always going to be uh
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, who
Yeah.
he's a great Bruce Wayne. Fuck, I hate his Batman voice so much.
I just can't not think of like the fucking those college humor videos that they use.
Yeah,
Like,
the
okay,
Joker's like, I can't understand you.
where are the drugs going?
Oh, that's one thing I will give Batfleck credit for. He was much better between the two than
Mhm.
Bale was, but I don't even hate Christian Bale's performance. I just hate the voice so much.
Well, I think it's just an extension of them trying to go with like a darker, grittier kind of vibe, and I think just doing that kind of voice was just kind of trying to emphasize it, but it just kind of
Yeah,
comes off as goofy a little bit.
yeah,
Like you're trying too
definitely.
hard. Like I like the way that Arrow handled it, where he had like a voice changer that gave him that like kind of darker, like deeper voice.
Well, even like Robert Patterson did a much better job between the two. That voice is just that's like the one like really negative thing I have about the Christopher Nolan films.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you think then also you think like I mean, we'll get into him in more detail when we cover these films later, but like George Clooney just played George Clooney the entire film.
Mhm.
Um, Val Kilmer was okay, but he was kind of like he was like a block of wood most of the movie. Like he really didn't show a lot of personality. Um, so another thing, like, what'd you think of the bat suit in this movie?
It was a little much.
A lot.
It was way too cartoony.
A lot of black.
Same with the Batmobile. It was super cartoony.
I'll defend the Batmobile. I fucking love that Batmobile so much.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said it's cartoony as fuck. Like
Like,
it felt like for a lot of the movie they were trying to make it seem like realistic for the most part, like kind of grounded. And then you see that suit and the Batmobile, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
okay. So I'm assuming you haven't watched Forever or Returns in a long time.
I
I mean,
haven't watched
not
any of
Return.
these movies in years.
Okay. Not Returns. So Forever and Batman and Robin. Oh, wait until you see the Batmobile in those movies, because they make this one look like the most grounded thing ever.
Fair. I'm just saying, like everyone's riding around in like old school sedans and like the kind of shit you'd see in like Batman the Animated Series, where it was clearly trying to go for like an older type of vibe, and then you just see that fucking monstrosity. It's just like activate shields, and it's just like.
I mean, I love it. Like, I think that's like my favorite Batmobile design because, like, I mean, the Tumbler was cool in like the Dark Knight, and like Batman Begins, but like it's just a tank. Like, it's not the Batmobile.
Fair.
Yeah, I like it better. I mean, because the thing in Forever and Robin is like the most colorful fucking thing ever. Like, it's like this was clearly made to sell toys.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the bat suit, a lot of black, and then that giant yellow, just like target for for like villains to shoot at.
Mm-hmm. It just like they made a point of being like, oh, it's like it's body armor, but it just looks like rubber. Like, I mean, I'm sure it is rubber, but like it looks like rubber, which is kind of the problem.
Yeah. Well, there's a scene in Returns where he like rips the mask off and it like just peels off like rubber.
Yeah. It's just wild.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any bat ass shots like we do in Forever, so that's always a plus.
Mm-hmm. Although Batman did get laid in this movie.
True.
I thought it was like really like weird. Like, I mean, I guess it was kind of like an Alfred move to do that, but like it literally just like we change scenes and you see Bruce Wayne in the Batcave just like, looking at videos or whatever, and then like Alfred's just like leading Vicky up, like, hey, here she is. And he's just like, he's looking at him like, what the fuck, bro? I ain't gonna blow up my spot like this. Like,
Yeah.
and he was originally planning on telling her anyway, but like, it's just like, dude, really?
Yeah. Well, I always laugh because like this was such a comic trope from back in the day. Like every like superhero had like a reporter girlfriend, I swear.
That's because reporters don't know how to keep their fucking noses out of shit.
I mean, it took Lois Lane how long to realize Superman was Clark Kent was Superman?
Hey, those are very convincing glasses.
Well, ironically, like she never even found out on her own. He tells her. And she's so shocked. She's so shocked by it. Like she's like, "What?"
It's ridiculous.
Classics.
Uh,
So we
I
have
don't
we
know how-
should. Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say, I don't know how I felt about the scene where the Joker like pops into Vicky's apartment, like when he was going to tell her about being Batman, and then he kind of goes on that like whole rant about like, oh, I knew this guy and he went down a bad road and kind of lost it and blah blah blah. And he starts like, then he just like breaks something. He's just like, oh, you want to get nuts? And it's just like this doesn't feel like Bruce Wayne. This doesn't feel like a Bruce Wayne move.
Well, Batman is very off in this entire movie compared to his comic portrayal. But everybody, to be fair, like everybody in this movie is kind of off.
Mm-hmm.
We probably should talk about the Danny Elfman score, though.
Oh, it was fantastic.
If anything from this film has aged gracefully, like even today, it is the Danny Elfman score. That music is fucking iconic.
Oh yeah, it's one of those ones that like you can't hear it and not know exactly what movie it's from.
Oh yeah, like to the point where like you hear the Batman theme and you're just like, yes, I'm all for this.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I was vibing all the way through it. It was great.
Because I'm trying to think like why like the other films didn't really hit the same way that they didn't hit the same way that this one did, and I think it had to do a lot with the Danny Elfman score not being retained, because I know he came back for Returns because that was also Tim Burton, and then I believe Forever. Yeah, the Forever the music was Elliot Goldenthal, who did a fine job too, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Elliot Goldenthal did the two Schumacher films. And then we had Hans Zimmer throughout the Returns. I mean the Begins films, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Hans Zimmer's stuff too. But Danny Elfman's music is so fucking big band and like extravagant. Like it just like if you ever play Lego Batman, like the music they just use the score from this film throughout the entire game, and it's just great.
Oh, really? That's great.
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't. I don't think I've ever actually played it like through. I think I have it on my Vita. If I don't have it on my Vita, I'm pretty sure I have it on my DS.
I actually have the fun version of Lego Batman that comes with this film on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just like one of those fun little things.
Oh man. Yeah. All in all, I really enjoy this movie. It's one of those ones that like and I haven't watched like any Batman movie in like a while. Like it's been a good few years since I've watched any Batman movies, and just this one is just always fun to go back to.
Mm. It's interesting too because this film also is responsible for essentially starting the DC animated universe.
Really?
Because they actually began production of Batman the Animated Series right after this film was finished, I believe, because of the success.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman the Animated Series, to this day, I still believe is like the best version of Batman like ever.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's another thing. Like if I ever walk into a room and I see Batman the Animated Series playing, like I'm sitting down and I'm watching it. Like,
oh yeah, like
and that kind of like spun off its own like the connected animated universe.
Oh yeah, the DCAU. Like we will do a whole episode on the DCAU at some point because like those series are so fucking iconic. Like Batman the Animated Series was great all the way through. We got Superman the Animated Series. We got Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock,
Mm-hmm.
Zeta Project. Technically, for anyone who cares, for like the 4 people that watched that. Yeah, it all was because of this film, the success of this film.
No kidding. See, Batman the Animated Series is another one that I really want to get the DVDs for. Like, I want to get them for like all of these animated shows.
I believe you can get a single box set of all of Batman the Animated Series now.
Yeah, I saw it at Walmart, I think yesterday, and like I was really tempted, but I just dropped the money on the new computer, so I couldn't justify. If I didn't have to buy a new computer, I definitely would have. But
you know, I'm so annoyed too because like I went out of my way to track down those like 4, which are very nice sets, but I bought the 4 box sets of all 4 seasons, like, and then they just released like this one convenient, like, oh, all in one, and I'm just like, that would have been nice.
yeah, well, that's how I feel about fucking like Dragon Ball and shit. Like all these times, like when I first started collecting the orange boxes, like before I was aware enough to know how shit they were. Like I got them individually, and then I saw they started like releasing like 2 packs of them for like half the price. And by that point, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get the Blu-rays, and I got all the Blu-rays. Now they're selling fucking like box sets with 3 seasons on Blu-ray.
Yep.
At Walmart for like super cheap. It's like, god damn it.
That's how they get you. I mean, I did get this in a Walmart bargain bin for $5. So
I think I have the same one from Walmart.
Because they used to always do those 4 film just sets, and it was like I saw this there, and I was like, oh fuck yeah! It was this, and I saw the Superman one, which had all 4 of the Christopher Reeve films plus Superman Returns. Because why not? I guess.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, though, like Batman '89, great film. Hasn't aged the best, but I still love it.
It's still an incredibly entertaining watch. There are way worse superhero movies that are way newer that you'd be wasting your time watching over this.
Like I'll watch this movie before I watch like. Honestly, I'd watch this over a bunch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
I'd definitely watch it over most Superman films. Maybe I'd watch Superman 2 over this one and two, anyways.
Hmm.
I definitely watch this over Man of Steel, though. That's for sure.
See, I never watched that one, so I'm actually looking forward to this being a more regular thing, watching these like live action DC movies, and like because there's a lot of them that I missed over the years, and then there's a lot of like ones that I haven't watched in a long time, so it'll be fun going through them.
Like
Just, oh god.
I was gonna say, all I will say about Man of Steel is I really liked it when it came out, but as I've watched it successively over the years, I like it less and less every time I watch it.
That's fair.
You have a different perspective though, because you're not a hardcore Superman fan.
Hmm.
Me being a hardcore Superman fan, I watch that movie and just go, "This ain't Superman."
Yeah, see, I like the concept of Superman when I was a kid, but like as I got older, I just maybe and I never read the comics, so maybe that's part of it. But I
That's the thing. I've been a hardcore Superman comic reader for years, so I've seen the character's highs and lows, and I understand what makes Superman work as a
mm,
character. So like when I watch Man of Steel, I'm like, nope, saying it. That
mhm.
being said, Henry Cavill, great Superman. I wish I wish he didn't get let go the way he did, but it is what it is.
Well, I also just think Henry Cavill is just a good actor in general.
He is, and like I always say, like he was not the problem with the DC like films at the time. Like he was a good
Mhm.
Superman through and through. He just had horrible dialogue and acting to work with. He had horrible direction to work with.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to doing more of these though. Like we'll definitely cover. The problem with DC movies is unlike Marvel, where they're all very concise and put together well. DC movies are all over the fucking place because they DC has a very bad tendency to they'll try something, it won't go well, and they'll just give up and scrap everything and then try again.
Yeah, see, Marvel has the other end of the spectrum where they're like they'll keep going whether it's working or not, and like they might like switch it up and try to do something different, but they're gonna stay on the same track either way.
Yeah, like
Whereas, yeah,
like I always forget because like people always forget Green Lantern was supposed to be the start of the DC universe, like film universe. Like that was going to be their Iron Man, and then it bombed, and they just gave up and said, "Nope, never mind." Um, and then made Man of Steel instead.
what would have been though? I can't imagine like how that would have gone. Like if they had just decided to push through and try to make it happen anyway, because then I don't know if Ryan Reynolds would have been able to be Deadpool after that.
I don't know.
If he was locked into Green Lantern, like I don't know if he would have even been able to move over to Marvel like that.
See, that's the thing that well, he had already been Deadpool before Green Lantern, so maybe if you want to call
Was it?
that Deadpool,
I couldn't remember which one came out first.
I'm pretty sure X-Men Origins came out first.
Okay.
Not saying that was the greatest performance ever because let's face it, they fucked that up hard. But
Yeah. Even like pre like stitched mouth Deadpool, like that like he was a little mouthy, but he wasn't like Deadpool.
yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. Green Lantern is like that movie annoys me in the fact that like they gave up on it and it's not even that bad of a film. It's not a good film by any means, but it's not like people act like it's one of the worst superhero films ever made.
I'm looking forward to covering it. I've never actually watched it, so it'll be fun. Um yeah, it just in general, like I'm looking forward to covering like more American geek culture stuff. Um I mean obviously I want to keep going with like the manga and anime and video game and stuff, but like I want to make it, you know, I want to be a little bit more generalized with like I don't want to veer too much in one direction, you know.
Hmm.
So it'd be good to kind of spread out and cover a wider variety of things.
I will say, like a series that I'm just kind of starting to get into now that might be fun to cover is I just started because I had that Newbury Comics gift card. I just bought the entire compendium of Invincible,
Mhm.
and I've heard the Invincible series is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
And that's apparently like that's it one giant like love letter to like American superheroes, and it's
Mhm.
also but it's also a much darker take on it, which I'm very interested in reading. So
Hmm. That'll be
that could
fun.
be a cool one to cover at some point.
I still gotta buckle down and watch the CW verse too.
Yeah, yeah. The sad part about the CW verse is like all those series start off great, and then they go on way too fucking long, and by the end you're just like, let it die.
Yeah,
Like
but I
that's why
feel like they. Mhm.
I was gonna say that's why Superman and Lois was like the perfect conclusion to the CW verse because they ran it for 4 years. They ended it before it could get ruined, and it ended on such a high note.
Mhm. That's fair.
It's actually kind of funny. The CW verse started with a Superman series. Well, they aren't part of the same universe, but they started with the Superman series and they ended with the Superman series
Hmm.
because they started with
Like
Smallville.
Smallville CW.
Yeah, it was like CW's first. Like, well, I don't think they were CW at the time. I think they were still like WB, but
Gotcha. Gotcha. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of this in the future.
hmm, nah, totally. But other than that, yeah, we got about an hour out of this. So
See, it's hard to
that's
go into too much detail with these kinds of movies, especially when like so much has already been said about them.
yeah. This is also back before all films were like 3 hours long. So
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't a very long. I mean, it was 2 hours, which isn't. It's not
it's two
short by any means, but
it's 2 hours, but a lot of it is action sequences, so it goes by very quick.
mhm, for sure.
That Jack Nicholson dancing in the street.
Yep. Oh, what was the like fucking? I remember like there was he was doing a lot of like deflecting with the greaves.
Yeah, he was. I don't. I'll never get over that fucking scene with the gun though. That scene just is like, what the fuck is this?
For real.
Like he just pulls it out. And he's like, boom, like the Gatling just destroyed.
And you know, I did mean to mention at one point, like, it made like the movie made it seem like he crawled out of the vat and he went and got his face reconstructed, lost his shit, and then somehow in like the course of like what, like a week, we'll say, like got all these crazy fucking joke, like deadly joke gadget weapons. Like I got this comically large pistol and freaking this like electric chair joke buzzer and fucking I got a flower that shoots acid strong enough to melt through these giant fucking metal bolts that hold up the bell of a cathedral. Like you got that shit together fast, bro. Like Jesus.
Which is strange too, because this Joker is more like put together up there than most Jokers. So,
Mhm. So it's
um,
just one of those things that I noticed that I thought was funny.
well, the whole thing about the Joker in most incarnations is the whole fact that like whenever you question anything about him, it's always kind of he's such an unreliable narrator that you can never. It's always you have to kind of you just never can think of. You just have to kind of take what it is because you'll never know.
That's true.
I mean, that's
But
why like the Killing Joke is so famous because it's quote unquote his origin story, but the entire thing is like he's an unreliable narrator, so you're never sure. It might be his origin, or he's bullshitting.
mhm. It's kind of like obviously we'll talk about it in more detail when we get there, but like the whole how did I get these scars shtick in the Dark Knight, like I love that whole thing. Like the first time we hear it and it's like, oh, that's interesting, that's cool. And then he does it again, but he does a different story and it's like, what the fuck? And then
Oh
he
yeah,
does it a third time and it's just like, what is going on here?
that
Like
that's his unreliable narrator. Like that's like the one time they've really gone into it too. I mean,
mhm.
my favorite Heath Ledger quote is still always like, "And I'll make this pencil disappear." It's just like
Oh, the first time I saw that dude, I was like, all right, let's go. I'm fucking strapped in for this. Like this is
I was like,
fucking
"Oh,
sick.
like okay, this is a Joker." All right.
But I feel like that movie like easily could have ended in like three different places, and it would
Oh
have been
yeah,
a complete
it
movie.
is.
Like,
It is an experience.
yeah,
Um,
but
but yeah, so I guess we'll wrap it up here. Once again, guys, thank you for joining us on Geek Addicts. You can find Geek Addicts on all the major podcasting platforms. particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. And you can be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network. That is superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site, finding a whole bunch of different shows, videos, blogs, a lot of cool stuff going on. Check out Anti-Game of the Year that recently came out. All three parts of that. Wild stuff over on the Super Ghost feed. And be sure to check out the other shows over there like Superpod Saga, Super Ghost Radio, Retro Rehab, Tommy's Video Game Ride Along, A Novel Console, Bar Silence, Fine Time, the Elder Trolls Gaming Podcast, Remember 64, Gaming Together, Friday Night Gamecast, Gaming and Collecting, the 3DO Experience, Geek Addicts, the Retro Wildlands, Press B to Cancel, and the Pre-Order Bonus Podcast. And with that, everybody, we will see you all later.
Have a good one.